I found out my fiancée was planning to divorce me after a year of marriage for alimony. I ruined her perfect wedding day. My entire world came crashing down at my own backyard barbecue. I never thought my life could change so dramatically while just grabbing beers from the garage fridge. For context, I, 31M, have been with Kylie, 28F, for 3 years, engaged for 1. We were supposed to get married in 2 months. I built my food truck business from nothing, starting with my grandmother's recipes and a used truck I fixed up myself. I worked 80-hour weeks, saved every penny, and built something I was proud of. For the past year, I've been saving aggressively to give Kylie her dream wedding, $85,000 worth of dream. I sold my project car, took on extra catering gigs, and cut back on everything to make it happen. That day, I was hosting a casual barbecue for our friends. The smell of burgers on the grill, everyone laughing, perfect weather, it should have been a great day. I went to the garage to grab more beers from the fridge when I heard Kylie talking to her friends Patricia and Liza through the kitchen window above the garage. At first, I wasn't paying attention, but then I heard her refer to my business as a roach coach with this disgusted tone I'd never heard her use before. I froze. Kylie continued talking, saying how she couldn't wait to be done with all this and how embarrassing it was to tell people her husband ran a food truck for a living. Then came the bombshell. She revealed her actual plan: stay married to me for a year after the wedding, then divorce me and seek alimony. She called me a stepping stone multiple times, explaining how I was just a means to an end. Patricia and Liza were encouraging her, adding comments like how at least I was paying for the whole wedding. They laughed about how I looked like I was going to pass out when Kylie picked out her $6,000 dress but still said yes because I was desperate to keep her. Kylie even mocked my suggestion of having a food truck catering station at the wedding, saying her dad would be embarrassed, which I knew was a lie because her dad, a mechanic, loves my food. They discussed the engagement ring, with Kylie planning to keep it as a trophy of my starter marriage. I felt physically sick. My heart was racing, I broke into a cold sweat, and I had to grip the fridge door to stay upright. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How had I missed this? How long had she been playing me? Somehow, I managed to grab the beers and walk back outside like nothing happened. I forced a smile and continued flipping burgers while my entire world imploded. Kylie came over, wrapped her arms around me, something she typically did before asking for money, and asked about booking some expensive videographers who'd had a cancellation. I agreed with a simple whatever you want, babe, while fighting to keep my hands from shaking. For the rest of the barbecue, I watched Kylie with new eyes. I saw how calculated her affection was, the way she touched my arm when telling people about our plans, the specific words she used, forever, soulmate, dream come true, and the knowing glances she exchanged with Patricia and Liza. I remembered all the times she'd pushed me to spend beyond my budget, complained about gifts or vacations I'd paid for, or dismissed my work concerns as boring truck stuff. That night, I lay awake thinking about everything I'd built from nothing. The long hours, the mistakes I'd learned from, the pride I took in my work. My grandmother always told me that integrity matters more than anything, and I knew I couldn't let Kylie use me like this. The next morning, I started documenting everything. I gathered all the wedding expense receipts, paid from my personal savings, screenshots of text messages where she discussed her plans with her friends, and the venue contract, in my name. I noted that most deposits were refundable up to 30 days before the wedding, which was crucial information. For the next few weeks, I continued to play the role of excited fiancé while building my case. I was careful not to tip her off, agreeing to her requests and acting normally while secretly planning my exit. It was the hardest acting job of my life, sleeping next to someone I now knew saw me as nothing but a bank account and a temporary convenience. 2 weeks after the barbecue incident, I overheard Kylie on FaceTime with Patricia. She had her AirPods in and completely forgot I was in the kitchen. She bragged about me selling my project car to pay for the wedding, calling me clueless and an idiot for transferring another $8,000 for the catering deposit. Then she revealed her plan to use our wedding photos to launch an influencer career. The final blow was hearing about Barry from her marketing department, who was apparently sending her flirty DMs with potential opportunities. I recorded the entire conversation on my phone, my hands shaking with anger, but I remained silent. That week, I visited Bianca, the venue manager. I showed her the texts and the recording. She was disgusted, her face turning red with anger. She shared that she'd been in a similar situation before and understood my position. We agreed to keep the venue booked, but she would hold the deposit in escrow. If Kylie tried to take over the booking after I left, she'd be informed that the deposit was non-transferable and non-refundable due to the breach of contract. Then something unexpected happened. Kylie's sister, Becca, contacted me privately. She expressed concern about her sister's behavior, saying she'd suspected Kylie was manipulated based on past experiences. Their relationship had been strained for years due to Kylie's selfish behavior. Becca showed me screenshots of Kylie's private Instagram stories with captions about upgrading her life and using what you've got to get what you want. She offered her full support, feeling guilty for not speaking up sooner. A few days later, Kylie and I had a massive fight about the flower budget. She screamed about how I was ruining her special day and stormed out to stay with Patricia. I used this time alone strategically. I contacted all vendors, florist, photographer, DJ, etc., and explained the situation, providing evidence. Most were surprisingly understanding, some even sharing similar stories. I secured agreements in writing to refund deposits upon cancellation and moved my savings to a new bank account Kylie didn't know about. While organizing documents, I discovered Kylie's plans for a Kylie's Luxury Life YouTube channel, with pre-filmed content about wedding planning that presented a completely fabricated version of our relationship. I also found her diary hidden in her desk drawer, with entries detailing her disdain, how I was pathetically in love with her, how my stupid car collection had to go anyway, and how she couldn't wait to trade up from someone so basic. As the wedding approached, I continued documenting everything while maintaining the facade. I confirmed the wedding was still on track from Kylie's perspective as she continued making plans and spending money. I transferred all contracts to her name, making her financially responsible for all expenses. I stopped wearing my engagement ring when she wasn't around, a small act of liberation. The plan was set. I would not show up on the wedding day. Update 1. First, I want to thank everyone for the support on my original post. Your encouragement helped me stay strong through the final weeks leading to the wedding day. The wedding was scheduled for last Saturday. I woke up at 6 a.m. feeling strangely calm. I prepared a video compilation that included the barbecue conversation where Kylie called me a stepping stone and mocked my business, the FaceTime call where she bragged about me selling my car, clips from her secret YouTube channel content, screenshots of her group chat with Patricia and Liza, entries from her diary. I sent this video to both families, the wedding party, and our closest friends with a simple title, Kylie's Truth. Then I turned off my primary phone, grabbed a burner phone that only Becca knew about, and went to the gym to work out and clear my head. Becca provided updates from the church via text. Kylie's mother was screaming at her in the bridal suite, not because of what she'd planned to do to me, but because she got caught. Apparently, her parents were nearly $30,000 in debt, having put their credit cards down as backing for non-refundable deposits, believing Kylie's promise to repay them with wedding gifts. Kylie initially tried to claim the video was edited or taken out of context, but her lies quickly unraveled. Liza, trying to save her own reputation, immediately confirmed the video's authenticity in the family group chat, claiming she'd told Kylie it was a bad idea all along. Meanwhile, my phone was blowing up with calls from different numbers: Kylie's phone, Patricia's phone, blocked numbers. The voicemails were a roller coaster, first pleading, Kylie insisted it was just a joke, that I misunderstood, that she really loved me. Then threatening, she warned she'd tell everyone I abused her if I didn't show up, that her parents would sue me for the money they spent. Finally insulting, she called me a pathetic loser who was never good enough for her anyway. Patricia even left a voicemail revealing their long-term plan: get me to buy a house, then divorce me and get half in the settlement. I saved all these messages as further evidence of their character and intentions. Becca described the scene at the church as total chaos. Half the guests left in disgust. Kylie's father was having a complete meltdown about the credit card charges. Her mother was screaming at the wedding planner, demanding refunds she wouldn't get. Liza and Patricia tried to sneak out but were cornered by Kylie's aunts who were furious about the deception. Kylie, wearing her $7,000 dress, for which I'd secretly canceled payment the week before, ran to the parking lot screaming my name, mascara running down her face. She tried to drive to my house but realized her car was at the salon. She had to awkwardly stuff her giant dress into an Uber, a humiliating scene witnessed by several departing guests. I had pre-arranged for the reception venue to serve the food anyway as a regular lunch, no wedding decorations. I didn't want the food to go to waste, and I figured some guests might appreciate a free meal. Most of the remaining guests actually went, drawn by curiosity and the promise of free food and drinks. The atmosphere was a mix of awkwardness and gleeful gossip, with people openly discussing Kylie's actions over cocktails from the open bar. By evening, my regular phone had 145 missed calls. Becca kept texting the burner phone, switching between asking me to give Kylie closure and accusing me of destroying her life. Barry, the guy from marketing, showed up at my door acting tough and yelling about me being a coward. I calmly played back the video of Kylie mocking Barry's recent divorce through my doorbell camera speaker. His face went pale, and he left without another word. One detail I hadn't shared earlier: months ago, shortly after overhearing Kylie's initial plan, I'd switched the diamond in her engagement ring with cubic zirconia. She'd been flaunting her perfect 3-carat diamond for weeks on Instagram, never suspecting it wasn't real. I hope she hadn't gotten it appraised yet. Some people have suggested I went too far with my revenge. But I believe there's a difference between my calculated response and her premeditated plan to exploit my love and finances for personal gain. She was going to use me for a year and then discard me, keeping the house, the alimony, and half of everything I'd built. At least I gave her the wedding day drama she clearly wanted, just not the kind she planned. I'm still processing everything that happened. Laying next to her all those nights, playing along while she was texting her friends about her exit strategy made me feel sick. But now, finally, I'm sleeping soundly again. Update 2. The aftermath of the wedding day has been what I can only describe as nuclear fallout. My phone continues to be bombarded with messages and calls. Kylie's sister is still sending messages to my burner phone, alternating between begging me to fix this and blaming me entirely for Kylie's situation. The morning after the wedding, at around 6 a.m., Kylie showed up at my house. My doorbell camera recorded the entire scene. She was still wearing part of her wedding dress, now dirty and torn, her face streaked with mascara, her eyes bloodshot and wild. She pounded on my door, screaming accusations and threats about how I had no right to humiliate her and how I would pay for this. My neighbor heard the commotion and called the police, but Kylie fled before they arrived. The ripple effects have spread to Kylie's friend group as well. Patricia's boyfriend saw the video I sent out and realized she had been planning a similar scheme with him. He immediately ended their relationship with a text saying he saw the video and never to contact him again. Liza's husband is now deeply suspicious of their entire relationship and has confronted her about her loyalty and motives. Their marriage is reportedly on the brink of collapse. Kylie's professional life has imploded too. She had a complete meltdown at work on Monday when coworkers asked about the wedding. She started screaming at them, accusing them of being jealous and unsupportive. The situation escalated when she threw a stapler at her manager, which resulted in her immediate termination. Her boss actually called me later to apologize, saying he'd had suspicions about Kylie's work ethic and attitude but hadn't acted on them. He expressed regret for not seeing through her sooner. All of Kylie's claims about my family money funding her lifestyle have been exposed as complete lies. The truth is that I built my business from scratch, and now she's unemployed with $30,000 in credit card debt from the non-refundable wedding deposits. The video evidence I sent out has circulated widely within our social circle and beyond. Kylie's parents, having watched her laughing about scamming me and planning her future with a richer guy, are deeply ashamed. Her father called me crying, saying he and her mom had sacrificed everything for Kylie, working extra jobs to give her a good life. They can't even look at her now and are selling their car to help cover the wedding debt she accumulated. Kylie has been trying to control the narrative on social media, posting long rants attempting to paint herself as the victim of a controlling and abusive ex-fiancé. I've countered each post with direct quotes and screenshots from her own messages and diary entries. Every time she posts a sob story, I reply with her own words, exposing her lies. The rich guy she was planning to pursue after divorcing me even messaged me on LinkedIn, thanking me for the warning and revealing that Kylie had already been sending him flirty DMs while still engaged to me. The most shocking development came from Becca. Feeling a mix of guilt, anger, and a desire to hold her sister accountable, she went to Kylie's favorite bar and found her there, already drunk and trying to spin a story to strangers about how I was abusive. Becca calmly approached and played the wedding planning video on her phone for everyone in the bar to see. The entire bar turned on Kylie, disgusted by her behavior. People started telling her to leave, and Kylie, enraged and humiliated, tried to throw a drink at Becca but slipped and fell face first into a table, spilling drinks and food everywhere. Multiple people recorded the scene, and it quickly went viral in local Facebook groups. Financially, Kylie can no longer afford her apartment without my support. Her roommate has posted urgently looking for someone to take over Kylie's lease. She's been forced to move back in with her parents, who can barely look at her. Her mother told my mother she's not sure she'll ever be able to trust Kylie again. I know some might view my actions as extreme, but I stand by my decision. Kylie deliberately attempted to exploit my love and trust for her own selfish gain. She planned for months to use me and discard me once she'd extracted what she wanted. I found satisfaction in exposing her true nature and preventing her from harming me further. Update 3, it's been a month since the wedding that never happened, and life has taken some unexpected turns. I wanted to provide this final update since so many people have been following this story and offering support. First, the Kylie situation continues to unfold. She's lost her apartment, her job, and most of her friends. Her parents have mostly cut her off financially after discovering the full extent of her deception. They're still helping with basic necessities but have made it clear that she needs to get her life together on her own. From what I've heard through mutual connections, she's been applying for jobs but struggling to find anything comparable to her previous position. The viral videos and local gossip have made it difficult for her to rebuild her reputation in our city. Surprisingly, my food truck business has actually thrived amid all this drama. The story somehow generated positive publicity, with people admiring my stand against deception. Many have sought out my food truck specifically to show support. I've even been considering expanding, possibly opening a second truck or a small brick-and-mortar location. I've had a few uncomfortable encounters with members of Kylie's extended family. Her uncle approached me at a gas station, attempting to guilt-trip me about destroying his niece's life. I simply showed him the screenshots of her planning to divorce me after a year and reminded him that she destroyed her own life with her choices. He had nothing to say after that. Becca and I have maintained a casual friendship. She's been working through her own complicated feelings about her sister and the role she played in exposing her. We occasionally meet for coffee and process the aftermath. She recently told me that Kylie has been telling family members that she's in therapy and working on herself, but Becca suspects it's just another performance to garner sympathy. A few weeks ago, I received a handwritten letter from Kylie. It was 10 pages of what seemed like sincere apologies and explanations about her behavior, detailing her insecurities and how she'd been raised to view relationships as transactions. She claimed to be truly remorseful and asked if we could meet to talk. I read it carefully, then filed it away with all the other evidence. I have no intention of responding or meeting with her. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ash. I used some of the honeymoon money, which I'd been able to partially refund, to book a solo trip to Thailand next month. I'm looking forward to spending 2 weeks exploring a new country, eating amazing food, and giving myself space to fully process everything that's happened. One unexpected positive outcome has been reconnecting with an old friend, Mia, who reached out after hearing about the situation. We were close in college but drifted apart when I started dating Kylie, who never liked her. We've been hanging out regularly, and it's been refreshing to spend time with someone genuine who values me for who I am, not what I can provide. As for the cubic zirconia ring, Kylie apparently did try to get it appraised after the wedding debacle, hoping to at least cash in on the diamond. The jeweler informed her it was worthless. According to Becca, Kylie had a complete meltdown in the store. The ring now sits in a drawer in my office, a reminder to trust my instincts and value myself enough to walk away from toxic situations. I've reflected a lot on this experience and what I've learned. I don't regret exposing Kylie's plan. I do sometimes question the theatrical nature of how I did it, but then I remember the calculated way she planned to use me, the cruel things she said behind my back, and how she was ready to take a year of my life under false pretenses. I protected myself from someone who saw me as nothing more than a resource to exploit. To Kylie, if you're reading this, and I suspect you are, I hope it was worth it. How's that for a stepping stone?